I'm just so short. The thing is, also, as well as being not very tall, I have a very short back. So I'm not kidding. There's a friend of Nick's who's a foot taller than me, and our legs are the same length. Because I, being a bit of a yogi and teaching, I'm accustomed to looking at people's structures.
Yeah.
And I noticed that 2 Pints Tom, that's his name. His back is 30 centimeters longer than my back, and our legs are the same length. So I sidled up to him and just measured.
Who's 2 Pints Tom?
He's a friend of Nick's.
Is it because he gets drunk off 2 pints?
Yeah.
Right.
But then he stays exactly the same for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so when I sit down, I look extra short because all my length is in the legs.
Yeah.
So, but you're basing all of this off 2 Pints Tom, and what I would say is, how do you know you have a short back, or he just doesn't have an abnormally long back?
Well, he has a very long back, but there's other things as well. Other things.
You've been collecting evidence all the years.
I have been collecting. I've been measuring, sidling up to people and measuring their legs without them knowing. And I sincerely hope that you're recording this.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good. So today in the studio we have a guest.
Hello.
We've got Sam Mesa.
Hi.
And then what we need to do is leave gaps for the people who enjoy this as a conversation, so they can join in with us.
Okay, cool.
Hello, Yana. Well, we don't.
Oh wow, we've gone massively
What we got?
exposed.
When I film on my camera, there's this thing where it cuts off the video after like 20 minutes
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we
of
have
recording,
That happens.
which is really annoying.
that. We have that.
That happens.
And also the thing with the light when the clouds change, it goes really bright, and then I go to start filming, and then I change the white balance, and then it's really dark. And
That's what Arthur's for,
That's
basically.
what I sort of am just consistently improvising,
yeah.
because we are
going
really
to-
teetering.
I'm going to
Yes.
start with this. I'm going to start with the
The
thing.
sun strips are cool. They've got like speckled.
It's ex-coffee waste, this one.
Nice.
Yeah, I like them. So... You will know this one, but I could tell you, so this is the best-selling scent on the planet ever. Which, actually, I should get this out. Yes, the sexiest scent on the planet ever, which has been featured in the 50th issue of the Scented Letter from the Perfume Society in their feature on 50 perfume icons. Number 1, the sexiest scent on the planet ever by me. Why? Because it's the best. No, because 4 in their alphabet comes before A. So so it's big though. It's quite big. So that's the reason it's before Acqua di Parma.
It's alphabetical order.
It's in alphabetical order.
Still,
but I don't care. I'll take that. It's number 1.
Yeah.
So it's iconic, and everyone should try it. So this.
50 iconic perfumes.
Yeah.
And there it is. What an amazing thing.
Thank you. Yes, correct. But as people might know, it is made from 4 things. It was made to be customised, and it just coincidentally got launched.
It smells to me of like vanillin.
Yes.
Like bergamot.
Yes.
2. I saw you too. But,
yes.
and I don't know what the last thing is.
No.
I would guess it's Hedione just as a guess, but I'm not actually sure if it is because.
The best thing about the 4th thing is
I'll
that
quickly smell that.
people say, "Oh, I can smell the frankincense. It's not in there. I can smell the black pepper. There isn't any in there. I can smell the musk. There isn't any in there." The 4th thing is cedrambra.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I've never really got on. As in with cedrambra, I've always. I don't know how to put it. Like, I've not been sure like if I liked it or not. Because it can be quite a harsh smell to it, I found.
Oh, well, I'm one of those who can scarcely smell it. And
And I've flipped between smelling something kind of nice and ambery or something harsh or not being able to smell it at all, and I've never been able to quite work out what's actually going on enough for me to really start using it.
And I sort of put it in by accident because I thought, well, that smells okay. And so it's in at 30% of the formula, which is a ridiculous super dose.
This makes a lot of sense now because I feel like the strength of the ISV Super almost smells like stronger than I would have felt it would have been from it itself, if that makes sense. But
I don't think anyone else has used cedramber at 30% of a formula, because mostly it's recommended as using at 2.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know that, so I used it at 30, and
that's how the best happy accents happen.
Yeah, and so it ends up being many things that aren't in there. It smells like many things that aren't in there. So that's my first one. So
it's very like you want to keep smelling it. You want to keep going back and just keep smelling it more and more.
Which is
I would describe it as iconic.
one of the 50 fragrances you really ought to smell.
I would say that
it's very easy to get on with. I say, and I think that's why if people do think it's, I mean, obviously it's subjective. It's probably not the sexiest scent on the planet ever, IMHO, for everyone. But what you want is to be very easy to get on with.
I think anyone could wear this, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is very sexy, but in my opinion, it's not even the sexiest thing on your shelf.
I think you're probably right. Take Me to the River.
It's a good name as well.
Yeah, and I sort of borrowed it.
Masterpiece.
I mean, it's a mashup of somebody who came to the event it was for, June event, saying, "Oh my God, that's just the sexiest scent ever," and the LPs we used to get when I was a kid, which were the greatest hits of 1972 ever, Volume 1, and then you get like Volume 12, and it's just the ridiculous superlatives, which I thought I'd add all of those in. So that is there, and what I
feel like you should make some point in the future you should make the sexiest scent on the planet ever 2.
Yes.
Just because by definition that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I made the extra sexiest scent on the planet ever, so I put it at 40% strength.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me.
The sexiest scent in the universe, or
yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, that might be like claiming a bit too much. I mean,
they've got like another planet somewhere where they've got some like aliens.
Wow. Yeah,
and
certainly.
that's an even sexier one.
Yeah, I should think so. I like
Imagine what the rings of Saturn smell like.
Let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that what I might do with some of these green materials which I have, which might be this video, might be next video, is take the sexiest scent on the planet ever, put some of these green materials with it, and show what happens when, what significance those have. Just small amounts of these green things, because I need to talk about greenery this month. But not necessarily right now. What you got though? What you got? What you brought?
Well, I've got a load of things. I mean, have you got any scent strips? Or you want? How about a
millions of scent strips?
Literally right in front of me.
Yeah.
If we're doing green stuff, why don't I give you a couple of green things this month?
Yeah.
So
do 3.
Do 3. Oh, of course. Sorry. I was doing these 2 for the 2 things.
Oh right,
Don't worry, I wasn't.
Well,
okay, I'll start
you're with us now, and we can use more strips. Well, welcome to the lavish world of... But we give them to people so they can put them in their sock drawers.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we don't
After they've had fragrance on.
After they've had fragrance,
Oh yeah, because I guess you make one of those, I don't know what you call it. Like those sachets you have in your wardrobe that make everything smell really nice, your clothes.
Yeah, we just give people scent strips. It's amazing the number of people haven't thought of that.
So this is one of my favourite raw materials, aroma chemicals, and I don't know why, because I think it's a bit weird, but it's just something about this smell.
Oh, okay.
Don't you worry, we're accustomed to weird. We know Harry.
Yeah.
And okay, I can smell that's weird already.
Whoa.
And are you going to like to smell something we made as well?
But I also don't think I can imagine putting this just in a perfume and people just being like, yeah, that's cool.
It's a bit socky, isn't it?
No, I've got. I'm getting something very specific off this.
And the first time I smelled this, I didn't like it much at all. And then later on, I re-smelled it, and then it made me think of a certain thing. And after I thought of that certain thing, I always thought of that certain thing. And then
it's quite inky. Not as in inky number, but
I've got.
I did. Oh. It repels me.
The bit of a gooseberry, right? The bit that is attached to the gooseberry, the bit between the gooseberry and the branch.
See, that's a Lancashire gooseberry with a Z.
Oh right, what people say gooseberry or gooseberry.
Northeast, I'd be gooseberry.
Gooseberry.
Actually, like a goose.
Yeah. Like it's spelt.
Yeah, but let's not worry about that.
Gooseberries. Oh, I do love a gooseberry.
I love a gooseberry.
It's really nice. I'm a big fan.
But you hate it then?
I don't hate, no, because this is the thing. If you have one thing that you really don't like and you put a tiny amount in a bland accord, it suddenly makes it interesting.
Yeah.
So I try to get people to identify the things that they're really not particularly fond of, and the day when they're thinking, I'm sure this is okay, but why isn't it a bit more interesting? Put a drop of that in and magic it. What is it? What is it?
Yeah, trip plan.
Oh, yes.
So to me, it makes me think of, like those Ribena adverts, or like those adverts where they have like a really sunny British summer's day, and that like green leafy like foliage and like some kind of orchard with like loads of juicy apples. You know, in the adverts when they put loads of like droplets of water to make it look really enticing. That kind of apple flesh like smell.
And now you're saying it, I'm getting it.
And I just smelled like that juicy, crisp, like
that's
like
what
apple flesh smell, and that image in my mind, I just love it. So
you're right. It's like the tartest of tarty apples when you just
like a Granny Smith.
Even more so, I would say a cooker, a proper sour cooker, and you take the skin up and you think,
it's the peel.
A little bite. Yeah, it is.
This is like chomping on apple peel. Oh yeah, okay, right. I'm on board. I'm there.
We're into Greenery. Okay, I'm going to go for one then, and then I need to smell one of your finished fragrances because
I don't actually have one with me, but I guess I'll have to come back for part 2 sometime.
I think you might. How to get invited back? Actually, how to get invited back? Just be nice.
I need to smell some of your fragrances. I mean, apart from the sexy scent,
oddly enough,
I still haven't smelled any.
Here, I have some lined up.
Cool.
So we might. Have we gone dull again after a wheel, right?
What, in terms of content or?
No.
Thanks. Oh yeah, that's green.
Oh, it smells so nice.
This is one of those ones I think I sent you to fetch once, but forgot to tell you that it was in French.
That's right, you did. Yes, can't remember what it is though.
It smells like cassis space or something.
It is. It's this one. It's the Vert de Cassis.
Okay. Because it doesn't smell quite the same. It smells a bit more like blackcurranty. I don't know, like a bit more of those like certain. I don't know if it's sulphurous notes, but those kind of like tropical, like maybe notes. It's
a bit more like the actual Absolute, whereas the Cassis Space 345B is a bit more like somewhere between Ribena and ski yogurt, black currant version. I think it's much more flavoury. This one I think is a lot closer to the actual blackcurrant Absolute, which have you smelled that? Do you need to smell that?
I did recently get some blackcurrant Absolute.
Right. Good.
But what I found with the actual blackcurrant Absolute was that it's like very much a top note, and it's got this really nice smell. But then it kind of leaves this dry down quite soon after of this like dried leafy smell behind, which I found isn't quite so nice.
I tend to use it with the Cassis Space 345B as well, or with raspberry ketone, and I guess the
other thing is it's quite expensive as well.
There's that thing.
But this is really cool though, because I think Cassis Space is probably one of my favourite raw materials. So having like a different spin on it is really nice.
Yes. Well, I have 5 kilos of this, so you can have some before you leave.
Oh, thanks.
It's like.
Is this
This is the blackcurrant bud Absolute.
Yeah.
If we're comparing.
Is this like pure?
5%.
Yeah.
This one's at the Vert de Cassis is at 10%. This one's at 5%. It is a lot more cat pissy than natural.
It's
I think.
So cat piss.
Particularly after smelling the Vert de Cassis Givco, is we've got black currant in our noses.
You get the leafy, that kind of leafy side that I was talking about, like that dried leaf. And when I smell like raspberry leaf Absolute, I get this same like dried leaf. I don't know if it sounds weird, but I feel like there's a common like dried herbal tea kind of note that sits at the bottom of these, beneath those nice fruity smells.
The minute you describe anything, that's all I can smell.
Good.
The cat wee is gone.
Good. The cat wee is a bit bit punchy at the beginning, and yes, it does. To
be honest, though, like I'd never smelled blackcurrant Absolute originally for a long time. Actually, only smelled it for the first time recently, a few months ago, and I read so many times that it smells like cat pee that I was preparing for something terrible, like something really awful. And when I finally smelled it, I thought, actually, this is like way closer to like Cassis Space and pretty.
Have you ever owned a cat?
Yes, I did, but I can't. That was such a long time ago. I don't remember the bee smell.
Oh,
To be honest. I wasn't really like focused on that.
I think cat trays actually. You know, if cats pee into like wooden shaving things, I don't think it smells too terrible.
Oh, because we had a cat flap and it always went outside, so I guess.
Oh well, there you go.
I was saved from the.
You had a very civilized cat. So it can be your turn next, but I'm doing this.
Okay.
I've got carried away now. It's like the ones who grab the smell strips first.
I should have put more green things, because if I knew we were doing like a green video.
Well, I would have warned you, but I never decide sort of until I think, oh, what do we do today? And then.
Because I was actually thinking, I should bring some more green things, and I thought, oh no, this is too many green things.
I could have said, we've been busy. Okay, so this is a finished fragrance, which was in a collection I put together. This I made originally for the Patreon group as an example of floral.
It's so violet-y.
Yes, so
it's nice.
It's called Dandelion Musk, and the idea is that you're in a meadow with lots of greenery, and it does have violet leaf absolute in it.
Yeah, I can smell that now actually.
And chamomile, and I think I put goldenrod in as well.
What's goldenrod?
Oh, you'll have seen it. It grows where the rose bay willow herb grows on railway lines. There's a tall yellow plant grows as well, and that's
that's very specific. Like
yeah, it's as Arthur said.
You see them from the window of the train.
It's probably if you showed me the picture, I would notice.
It's a long, tall yellow weed, but not to be confused with St John's wort, which is another long, tall yellow weed that grows by railway lines. But it's called Verge d'Or, and Arthur thought it sounded like a dodgy James,
goldenrod.
Goldenrod, yeah.
James Bond and the goldenrod.
Yeah, okay, but it's a lovely. It's quite an intense wildflower.
Because I think it's like blended in really well, so I don't really like the smell of chamomile that much, but I can smell the chamomile in here, and normally that would make me hate it, but actually I think it sits in there really well. So I think.
I suddenly learned that I liked chamomile. I said blue chamomile. When I did it right, as exactly as you say.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of things in this that I don't like by themselves.
Yeah.
But when I say, rule number 3, get to know your materials, I don't mean by themselves quite often.
Yeah.
I mean, get to know them. Like, how are they when they're with other people? I mean materials.
Yeah.
Has it got so bad that I now start, my world is just full of people, perfume people. I've forgotten what people are.
But then what was like the I don't know what you call it, like process for work, because obviously you can put like things together. Was it like you put the chamomile in with a certain thing and you thought, or was it, I don't know, like, because I find when you're blending materials you like, it's easy to come up with something because you're likely to put materials you like together.
Yeah.
But it's not so often I find myself reaching for something that I don't like the smell of on its own and thinking, I just try putting a bit of that in there. Thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, and I discovered a long time back when I was doing a fragrance for a perfume event, the very event that Professor Barry Smith and Ophelia Deroy and Lizzie Ostrom and I was at, and Professor Thomas Hummel. The poem that I'd made the perfume for was about a mermaid. But what if mermaids were actually real and they lived thousands of feet down and they couldn't see and they just smelt the sea floor and their bodies were quite crusty and hard because they're really sort of
random.
Big, ugly. I know. So I thought, what would they find to be a beautiful smell?
Okay.
Because they probably like the smell of dead rotten fish and mud and ocean mud. And I was called the opposite of roses at one point because they probably smell roses and go, what's that? The way that we would if we smelled the bottom of the ocean floor. So it was quite odd. So I was trying to make something.
Yeah. Okay, so you're like, the world was like a flip, everything was flipped on its head. Yeah. So it was like, okay, what if what was nice was not nice and what was not nice was nice? Okay.
So there I was trying to use all my least favourite materials to make something horrible. And the more least favourite materials I added, the nicer it got.
That's good. You must have
And I thought,
felt
damn,
so strange.
yes.
But
What am I going to do? But I still had to make it horrible.
Yeah.
So then I thought, what do I love? I know, oat moss. I put the oat moss in, and it went. And it was really. Somebody actually smelt it in the event I did, and she said, well, I think we might have had this story. It's quite a terrible story, but because shall I tell you this? She said, shall I tell you? I'm not sure if I should tell you. I said, well, you're going to have to tell me now, as I am now. Her grandmother had had a heart attack and died in the bath, and she had to go and clean the house out after the police had finished, and she said this fragrance smelled like their grandmother's bathroom after her grandmother had died there and they hadn't found her for a week.
Oh, wow.
So I succeeded. But the point that I'm getting to is that I learned that if you make things out of all your least favourite things and add one that you like, it smells what you want. So I then also learnt that, because my big thing is, let's make things out of things we love. And then they start to smell samey or bland. So
I almost feel like sometimes with the things you love, you love them because they are how they are, but when you start to try blending, it's almost like the only direction they can go in is worse. It's not strictly true, but it's like, actually sometimes you need to start blending those.
Yep, you put in something that you really don't like, you put that one thing in, and suddenly something great comes out of it. So I had to buy chamomile for some reason. I'd resisted it because I don't like chamomile tea. It tastes like mud. It's horrible. So I thought I didn't want it, and so I bought the chamomile. I thought, well, it's not that bad. And then I put it in the thing I had to put it in, saying, oh, it does that thing. So I decided I would like it for what it is. It's like the person you think you don't really want to invite to a party, but on the other hand, they can do balloons. Or
it's sometimes it's not necessarily like the person. It's like, what effect does that person have on the party, right?
Yep, exactly. That's how I think about materials.
So it's like maybe there was someone who like was a bit of an asshole and no one liked or something.
Yeah.
But say you had a party full of more like reserved, quiet people, and you could think, oh, how do we like finish this picture? But you think, invite the asshole to like kind of. Cause a bit of commotion or something.
That is exactly what it's about.
Which is what civet is used for.
Yeah, literally. So you make sure you don't have too much.
Yeah.
But when everything seems, you brought all the nice people, everybody sit and going.
Yeah.
What should we do now? And so in comes the person who's a bit obnoxious by themselves, but spread amongst the group. They'll go, shall we do this? And the whole place goes, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
So it's that's the thing that you wouldn't normally buy. That's what it's for.
I often think that the thing that keeps you coming back to a smell, it comes back to a fragrance, the addictive bit is often the bit at the very back that's actually just a little bit gross. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
It will be.
Like, there's always something in the fragrance that you can't stop sniffing it. I just love it. It's because there's probably a little bit of civet in it or something.
Or, yes, civet equivalent.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's equivalent.
Even though, yes, Arthur can't be in the same room as the...
Yeah, I mean, that's what I always heard as, like, the reason that you are meant to use those things in the first place, because of that effect.
Right.
I don't think I've necessarily myself managed to do it that successfully yet, but...
Interesting.
I feel like what I've read about stuff like civet...
It's why I like the sexiest scent on the planet ever.
Yeah.
It's fairly unobjectionable.
Yeah.
So, and so I use this to test other things with.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Have you ever put a bit of civet into it?
Not yet.
Oh, let's have a go.
All right.
I'd love to try that.
Okay, I'll have to do
experiment.
But
I think
we'll do it in a bit.
The flanker, the civet flanker.
Let's see if we can flank this.
Sexiest scent on the planet ever. Summer 2022 civet edition.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're on.
Do you want to smell these?
Yes, please.
You find the civet.
I'm not really going to find it. I might have some.
It's downstairs.
It's downstairs.
We are doing that today, though.
Arthur, are we?
Thanks.
So this is another thing that I think smells really nice in terms of the green family.
Green, the grass is green.
I think this is.
Okay, do I have
this?
this?
It's fairly standard in like a family of green notes or something.
Bear in mind that my artisanal approach is buy as many naturals as you can afford and fiddle with them with synthetics rather than the approach of the let's see if we can recreate everything out of synthetics.
Yeah.
So I'm often entirely unfamiliar with things that everyone else thinks are standard.
See, well, I don't know if this actually is standard.
Myself here. Am I covering myself?
But to be fair, like, because my approach was always been like.
Yeah, sorry, your approach is. I interrupted right in the middle of the sentence. Go on.
No, when I started in perfumery like years ago, like when I first tried to get started, I just bought a load of essential oils off Amazon and tried to blend them, and everything smelled really bad.
Yeah.
Like everything smelled like eucalyptus or that herbal smell. And then when I first like discovered synthetics, I was like, well, this is like where the perfumery is at, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of became a bit like, you know, towards the synthetics.
Okay.
Not that I don't like naturals, but I find it much easier to build like structures out of like cleaner synthetic notes and then slot like naturals in to like kind of, I don't know, like a bouquet where you put them in the middle or something like that.
Yeah, I find it always much more like my senses fire off a lot more when I smell synthetics. I think it's because there's more clarity to them, so it's
they're like very stark sometimes.
Yeah.
Like bright colours sometimes, and things like that.
This started off as being very barky.
Yeah.
And now is quite minty.
Interesting.
I'm finding it quite minty.
Interesting.
And I'm then thinking, so I really don't know, but I have smelt it before, so I don't know if I've smelt it in something or by itself. So, is it Burdock's?
No.
Okay, good. Is it? No, it's not. Tell me.
Stemone?
Damn! I use Stemone and Verdoc's and Fructone in my fig base, and it's like that would have been my next one. I couldn't remember what it was called.
Demox.
No, Stemone.
Stemone.
So to me, it smells like black currants and ivy. I don't know if you get either of those notes. I
get ivy. I definitely get ivy now. You say.
You know what ivy smells like?
Like, you know, I don't know if you're like digging in the garden and there's like a load of ivy root. I don't know if that's actually what it smells
Yeah,
like.
it
I
is.
feel like I just smelled that on my hands.
This is like something green that you've just dug up.
Yeah.
Yes. Damn it, I own it. Because somebody once said to me, well, said once, about 1,022 times at my workshops, people used to say, have you got fig?
Yeah.
Have you got fig? And I used to say, no, there's no such thing as fig. And one day I thought, you're an idiot, McCartney.
Yeah.
Make something that smells like a fig note.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I used Stemone, Verdoc's, and Fructone.
I heard there was like a Jean-Claude Elena accord to make a fig leaf, and it was like Stemone and something else. I can't remember what the other thing was.
It's in a book I probably got here. So so that's my excuse. It was one of two and I failed. I bought.
What are the green notes you have?
Well, I use.
I've not smelled
that. But you probably have because this is its other name. Figo Vert is also undecovertol.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
So, but I find that both this and the next one, I mean the clue's in the name, isn't it? Calling something Figo Vert, as in green and figgy, because fig leaf absolute is banned because it's so horrible. I mean, you don't like to think what damage it might have done to Adam's bits that he covered up with fig leaves. I don't think that was real.
Wait, it's
dangerous. It's both phototoxic, I think, and a skin sensitizer.
Right.
Fig leaf absolute, so it's not used at all. So this, very tiny amounts. Either.
This one, I think you like keep diluting it, and you still smell it really strongly.
Yeah.
You just keep going.
Well, I have it at 5% there. Only because I don't want to make particularly huge samples.
I feel like when I've tried to use this, it's one of those ones, if I add it to something, it doesn't like ever blend with other stuff. It just like adds that note on the side of it.
Interesting.
I know you like in your like maybe your Black Planets thing or something, but it's like this moon.
It would
that's
be a
like
moon.
A bright green moon or something that always looks like a bright green moon. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then if somebody wants a fig note, if they've come here to do a workshop and they want to make a fig fragrance, it's like, mate, take that. And.
Is this what fig smells like? Because I don't actually know what fig smells like.
You'd have to. I've got a fig tree now. I got it bought by me by the in-laws for Christmas, and so it did grow last year. It grew 2 figs, and I snapped. It doesn't smell like an actual fig, but it smells like the sap.
Yeah,
you snap it off at the end. So
when I used to live in North London, we had 4 fig trees in the garden, and so during season we would have hundreds,
figgy pudding,
if not thousands of figs. Huge old fig trees. That would
you go outside and they just fall on you. Fig face mask. So this, I think, smells the way that people want fig fragrances to smell, and this is green tea Jivko.
Like just thinking back to earlier on when I smelled these.
Yeah. So this is at 10%.
To me though, it does. It's weird because it's got this like certain something to it, which is like nice and a bit like sparkly, and I like it. It's got this kind of interesting, unique smell.
It's a bit fizzy.
Yeah, like a fizzy side.
It doesn't smell like green tea, I don't think.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't smell like green tea.
And I think that's why, because it's called green tea and it's made by Givaudan, so it's a Givco. People think, oh, but it's not green tea. Why would I want it? It doesn't smell like green tea. They will ignore the name and use it for general purpose figgy greenness.
Also, green tea doesn't
smell much.
It's not. It doesn't. Not only does it not smell much, but it doesn't smell that nice. It's not something you go, oh, there's a lovely green tea smell. It's not like.
I feel like jasmine green tea smells nice.
Now that doesn't, but of course.
Smells of jasmine.
Jasmine green tea is one of the greatest smells known to humanity, I think.
Then like matcha as well.
Yeah.
Though I don't know how closely that related. Is that sort of kind of like a different tea that's green?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's actually related.
It's a different plant. Yeah.
But I have some jasmine tea CO2 extract and some green tea CO2 extract downstairs.
Do they smell like this or do they?
No, they don't smell like this. No, I mean the green tea extract does smell like green tea.
This does remind me slightly of like washing up liquid.
I was that's
I think
majorly washing up liquid to me.
I think probably a lot of washing up liquids have similar things in it.
I can imagine a lot of washing up liquids using the Jivco bases because you're basically saying like, here's a nice smell, pre-mix, it's all done.
Yeah.
And do they make them to be like stable in those bases or something? I
mean that's the thing about the good bases, is that they stay smelling of that when you use them. Here's one I made earlier. You might know this, but it's a bit difficult out of context. But I think finished fragrances are easier to identify than individual materials a lot of the time.
I like this. This is nice.
This is Take Me to the River, Wash Me in the Water.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of pepper. Has it got pepper in it?
No, but
or like frankincense maybe.
Yes.
That peppery smell, because I feel like frankincense and pepper share some.
Yes, their characteristics. It does have frankincense, because the idea is this is a Sunday morning after a bit of a Saturday night fragrance.
Yeah.
So it's got frankincense to help you meditate and absolve you of your sins. A little bit of rosemary, a little bit of peppermint, and quite a lot of citrine hexanol and some hydroxycitronellal.
I really like this. I think this is really cool.
Thank you. This is probably my fragrance which is most popular with people who don't normally like my fragrances because they're a bit too out there.
Yeah.
If people are more accustomed to buying things from
like high street stuff.
Yeah. And this gently leads them in a bit. But it's meant to be sort of a riverbank. Definitely Sunday morning fragrance. It's my hangover cure fragrance.
Yeah. It's just it smells to me. It's just like warm and comforting. Kind of.
It's definitely on a warm day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go anywhere near it.
But I feel like I could wear this in winter.
Well, I think the only days that I can wear Dough in the Snow, which I made to smell wintry, I can only wear that on really, really hot days.
Yeah.
So this one, it's pleasant for coldness.
It's lovely.
I'm fond of this. What else you got in there?
I've got some other things, but they're not necessarily green things.
That's fine.
Are we still doing green or?
Show us the as a sort of leading up towards the finale. Show us the most weird thing you have.
The most weird thing. Okay, there's something here which I would be interested to know what you guys think of. Okay. So I won't say what it is, but I would be interested to know the picture that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Because when I first smelled it, the picture that came to my mind, I was like, oh, that's an interesting. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, it's good to have somebody new with new things, isn't it? Because we've got Harry's box of stuff that he forgot yesterday.
I think this thing came from Harry anyway, so you can thank him.
Well, Harry started off specialising in things that nobody else stocked, you see, and that's why people say, "Has anyone tried this, and this?" And the answer is like, "Have you been buying from Harry?"
This is a bit of a base note, so you might want to leave it to evaporate for a minute before, because it's almost like at 10%.
Well,
so the alcohol kind of
it's that, but it's
But after a minute, it will come out a bit more.
It smells quite a lot like a fresh sticking plaster.
This. This, right?
Is.
This is very strong, Lee. I'm cider that I've spilled all over myself the next day when I smell my clothes. And I have a whiff. I smell my jumper and I'll be like, "Oh God, you've spilled a pint of cider on that." So very. But we're talking like beer festival cider. Actually, we're not talking Strongbow or Magners. We're talking.
I kind of know what you mean. It's
Old Father Willie's cider or something. Yeah.
It's like that smell that just soaks in and never goes away.
Yeah. It's very appley to me.
Yeah, I think it
fermented
smells
apples.
Like a sort of 1980s eraser rubber that has been infused with a smell that's supposed to be apple, but it ends up smelling a little bit like car tyres in an orchard.
So interesting that you guys both get an apple note then, because cider
old apple
and apple note, and
because I think
it's rotten apple to me. And that's not to say that's a bad thing.
No, because that's what I get when I smell like Damascus. I don't know if you guys have done that on the videos before.
No.
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Are you hinting in the direction of roses? What is it?
So this is Pine Needle Absolute.
Oh.
Is it?
The smell that I get from this, or the image in my mind, it's like this is what dinosaurs would smell like, or like prehistoric time. I don't know why I thought of that. I just felt like it smells like the musty corner in like the Natural History Museum or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can imagine like the forest floor with like loads of like mulchy, kind of like decaying.
Well, I was thinking of the
yet
wine.
again, that's all.
I wasn't thinking. As soon as you say that, of course, I wasn't thinking about the Natural History Museum, but as one with its feathers on and everything, because now we think dinosaurs all had feathers, don't we? Which is great. You don't know. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, cool.
Because just because
even
they've got the scales and everything. Well,
even like the ones with like the club on the tail, like I thought they had like big scales.
Yes, but underneath birds.
Yeah.
But we don't know necessarily that they had scales.
Yeah.
But so we think now.
Yeah.
Basically, they all had feathers. So pterodactyls weren't those skinny things. They would be actually big birds.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing. So
what I get now is a pterodactyl who's been to the Eagle and Child Beer Festival and has spilt cider all over itself, and has woken up this morning and smelt its jumper.
I wonder what a pterodactyl jumper was.
Feathery jumper.
And has decided to go to the Natural History Museum.
Yeah, and they're all going.
Sit in a dusty corner.
Everyone's going, "Oh God, dinosaurs! They had feathers." Like, no, that's their jumpers.
I feel like you guys smell something and then I suggest.
Yeah, and we're there.
That's all I get.
That is what happens. Yeah. It is what happens in the world. This is like I've said it before. I'll say it again. We passed round once here. I passed round the Rose Absolute, and somebody said, "Oh, is that cucumber?" And everybody else starts saying, "Oh, yes, it's cucumber, isn't it?" I had to stop them before it had spread too far.
Yeah.
It infects people. Go on that.
I'm trying to smell this with sexiest scent.
What I should do, we should probably...
It works.
What, is that the pine noodle?
Yeah.
It works.
The
I have a tendency of
the sexiest
playing with my smelling
dinosaur
strips.
on the planet ever.
I'm so much trying to make this go straight again because I play with my smelling strips. Apologise.
Okay. Alright, I said last, but this is the greenest green thing.
Yeah, that is cucumber.
You said it already.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
I mean, it's unashamedly cucumber.
It is actually an extract of cucumber.
Oh, I hate the smell of cucumber.
I'm so sorry. We did this
Give me a headache.
week. People have been commenting on the green stick full of water remarks that we were making about cucumbers. Nick hates cucumber. He thinks there's no point. It's just water that you have to force yourself to eat.
I agree with him.
I think it's nice in like one of those salads where you have like some peppers, some cucumbers, some tomatoes, you know, like the feta cheese.
But in a fragrance?
Yeah,
nice.
That's nice. I've made a fragrance called Green Leaf New Renewal something or other, and my Japanese friend was considering stocking it in Japan. They decided not to go for the green one because she said Japanese people think it smells like salad. So that was the end of it. Japanese people do not want to smell
of salad, especially a salad with cucumber in it.
She's correct. So yes, I mean we have many other green things here, but that's probably enough greenness for one afternoon. So I should probably go and get the civet. We'll make the sexiest
civet on the planet
ever. See how that goes.
Yeah.
And on that note,
adios.